good vibe, we shine on the light. Welcome to chat night, we bring you good vibe, we shine on the light. We all over the world, chat night Africa. We all over the world, chat night Africa. Welcome to chat night, we bring you good vibe, we shine on the light. Welcome to chat night, we bring you good vibe, we shine on the light. We all over the world, chat night Africa. We all over the world, chat night Africa. Welcome to chat night, the only place that we give you good vibes. Chat night Africa. Welcome to chat night, all over the world we are shining the light. Chat night Africa. Welcome to chat night.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of Family Matters on Chat Night Africa. My name is Divine Chamakong, and I'm anchoring this broadcast from Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. Let me ask you this question. Have you ever fallen in love? I tell you what, it's amazing what love would make you do. The elation is simply indescribable. You are on cloud 9. I once was there myself. Now, unfortunately, emotions don't remain the same. But what emotions? What triggers the emotions, the intense feeling? Dopamine, oxytocin, they simply run amok in you, and it would not matter what you have to do to see that woman, that man you are in love with. Whoa! As I said, unfortunately, these emotions and intense feelings don't last forever. Emotions, intense feelings, these are words that come whenever you go searching for the meaning of love. So, does time take its toll on love relationships? Ladies and gentlemen, that's where the conversation begins tonight. Please join me now in welcoming Dr. Caroline Vando on the platform.
We love Chat Night Africa.
Dr. Caroline Vando, thank you for accepting to come and take some razor sharp questions on family matters this Valentine's Day 2023.
Thank you, Nee, for inviting me also. I'm so happy to be here.
When I looked up the meaning, love, a couple of words came up. Deep feelings, emotions, and that's the problem. Today, my feelings are different about going to work. Tomorrow, my feelings will be completely the opposite way. Today, I don't feel like going to work. Tomorrow, maybe because of the bills I've got to pay, I've got to go to work. So feelings and emotions change. That's why, Dr. Caroline Vando, when you buy furniture, when you buy a mattress, when you buy a dress like the red dress you have on, sometimes you begin to feel bored about it. Should that be the same thing with love relationships? If not, why not?
Yeah, thank you so very much. We are talking about life right here. And unfortunately, we are living in a time where we are taking life so lightly. Life is just what it is. You are either living or you're dead. If you're dead, you're dead. Everything is dead. It doesn't matter what you were doing or what plans. So we are talking about life right here when we are talking about relationships. And I want to focus on the marriage relationship. So you can never compare that relationship with maybe furniture or any other thing, because this concerns destinies and life. We have to pay attention before we get into serious relationships, because that is where life starts, right there. And therefore, we have to take time to learn, to study, research, before we get into that type of very serious decision. So, my answer will be no, it's not the same. It's not the same, because relationship and focusing on marriage is life, and it cannot be handled just anyhow. It is too serious to be handled anyhow, and that is the problem. Many people handle it just the way you've just said. They just follow their emotions, the way they feel, the way they think, and get bored. Oh no, it's more than that, it's deeper than that, it's more serious than that.
You talk about most people feel that way. Well, how are you going to? You have these chemicals running crazy inside you. Boy, you fall in love with that man you met in the gym with six-pack, or that woman with in Coca-Cola shape. And when you fall in love, I mean, your knees buckle, you have sweaty palms, your heart is beating so fast, you're breathing so heavily. It's like if you don't see that woman, that man in a minute, you will not survive, because all this dopamine, oxytocin, just running crazy inside you. You've got to go see her. You've got to go see him. It doesn't matter whether there's thunderstorm outside. Now, you can wait for the wedding day. Dr. Caroline Vando, what happens that you no longer, after years down the line, all those chemical reactions just vamoose, they just fizzle out? What's going on? And that's perhaps why we have so many divorces now. I know of a woman who told her husband that she no longer loved him. Now it looks like the feelings, the endorphins have gone. They're gone. What happens?
Thank you so much. That's a very important question. And I want us to understand that the relationship is so important that we do not just follow the feelings with no knowledge. We must have knowledge first. And there are many people who get into relationship without even knowing anything about relationship. And what you've just described is called infatuation. You're just infatuated. And it ends at that level. You don't know anything about the person. All you know is excitement and fun. And it just ends at that level. It will not go anywhere. It will die. So it is very, very important to read books on relationship, to listen to tapes on relationship, learn and have some knowledge if you are ready to get into a serious relationship. If you just want to play around, it's okay. You can skip playing around and just be infatuated each time. But that is what happens with many people. They live from one relation to another. They were never committed. They never had intimacy. They never had passion. Because for a real relationship to be complete, you must have these three elements. You must have intimacy, passion, and commitment. So if you are infatuated and there is no commitment, there is no passion, no intimacy, you cannot be intimate with anybody with someone that you don't know. You don't know the person. You don't know anything about the woman or the man. You are just carried away. You don't know what that man has been through, how he grew up. You don't know how that woman grew up.
Dr. Caroline Vando, there is somebody on the line, and if I'm not mistaken, it is Mrs. Lillian Fomunung. Hello, Na Lillian. Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you, Divine. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Dr. Caroline, can you hear her?
Yes, I do hear her.
Everybody
Happy Valentine's Day, my sister.
Okay, Makaro, good to hear from you. You are truly, truly, truly an inspiration to me. The first time that I had the opportunity I was blessed to be on the same platform with you was sometime, I don't know, probably about 2 years ago on Chat Night.
Wow.
And it was a fantastic experience.
Wow.
And I always love to listen to you when you talk about love issues, because you had a line that resonated with me a long time ago, and I've been using that line with friends.
What's that line, Lillian? What's that line?
That line is actually straight from the Bible. It's in Genesis, I think, somewhere, some chapter, verse 8 or something. And it talks about the fact that a woman was sent here actually on an assignment from God to fix the life of a man. So we do not bring confusion into their lives. Mm-hmm. And that line stuck with me, and it's a very, very great line. And that will be for another day. Now, Nidivine, coming back to this topic about this love that you're talking about.
Right. And my question to you, Lillian, to you is it possible to avoid time taking its toll on relationships? I just told you, I heard about this woman who at some point told her husband that she no longer liked her or loved her. So you've been married for 30 years, Lillian. You've been married for 30 plus years.
No, don't shortchange my married life. I've been married for almost 33 years.
33 years.
Yes.
Do you? Yeah, go ahead. Are there times you feel bored with your husband? You just feel bored?
No, because see, the thing that the description or what we are talking about. See, there are different kinds of love.
Thank you.
And the word love in itself is an ambiguous term. But if you come from the background that I am, or the love that I want to describe tonight, the term boredom cannot exist in that kind of love because it is not physical. Physical things fizzle. They should fizzle. And so that's that kind of love that you're describing, where someone gets up in a day and say, I am bored with this situation, or I am bored with that. That's because it is completely physical, what they are looking at. And of course, every physical thing dwindles. It's supposed to. But if you take the love itself, which is, and I don't have to apologize for this, because the word love in itself is godly. So if you go into the spiritual love, boredom cannot happen there, because you cannot look at that partner. Remember now, God does not make mistakes, period. He doesn't make mistakes. If he places you in the path of somebody, there is a purpose. Find that purpose. Now, the devil sets in confusion, and we cannot argue that. We live in a physical world where all of this has to happen for God's glory to shine. But coming back to that, your question about, is there a time when I feel bored with my husband? Just the thought of feeling bored with a life partner in itself, it's a little bit, I don't know how I can place it. It goes beyond, you have to go beyond that physical of that person. and take the spiritual of that person. And that is what you relate to. Everything physical is meant to dwindle. There is nothing physical that is meant to last forever.
Lillian, you can imagine the day. I mean, I know your husband is a personal friend of mine. You can imagine the day that you fell in love with him, or the day he fell in love with you. You have all these chemicals running crazy inside your mind. It's like, oh,
yes, and those chemicals produce 3 children. Yes.
You're crazy. Anyway.
I'm not crazy.
No,
I'm just telling you. I'm just calling it as it is. Yes.
That's why I like you. That's why I wanted you on this show.
You cannot dwell on that physical. You cannot dwell on it.
Lillian, what have you been doing? Lillian, what do you do to get this love stay fresh? I don't know if you still have the oxytocin, the dopamine and all that running in your head when you see.
Okay, so let me make it simple, because I was really philosophical there, and they're not, a lot of people are not spiritual, so they won't get it, and that's fine. But if you live in the physical and you want to dwell on the physicality of love, and you want it to stay that physical way, it will require a lot of energy for you to keep that physical going. That is why I keep reverting to the spiritual, because the spiritual doesn't require any energy. It is just constant. So if you want to keep that physical burning the way it is, then do different things, spice it up.
Yeah, that's exactly the thing. What when you call spice it up, what do you mean?
Yes. Well, for instance, you don't wear your shower cap and your sweatsuit when the man is coming, your husband is coming back home. You put on something that will be appeasing to him, because if he is in the physical, that's what he is going to see. Because if you live in the physical, then you have to act physical.
So you think that that's what others are doing that others are not doing? Those who say that, oh no, the feelings are gone, those butterflies are not there, the cloud 9 that you find yourself in when you fall in love, you're no longer there. Is that what's happening with people who shouldn't tell their spouses that they no longer feel the same way?
Right, and there's nothing wrong in discussing your feeling. There's nothing wrong in that. Open up to your partner. I don't feel the same way I used to feel. Fine, honey. What happened? How can we fix this? Is it fixable? How can I contribute to making, because see, in the divine, 2 people come together, there has to be something that connected the 2 of you. And again, I say, if that thing was mainly physical, it is going to dwindle. There is no 2 way about it.
Go ahead.
That brought the 2 of you together was deeper than the physical, which should. And I wish to God, I just wish that every couple or everybody that is seeking a relationship, go for the spiritual. Ask yourself, am I ready to commit? Because it's a commitment. It's an agreement that you're saying. You're denying yourself. And that's where that love comes from. You're denying yourself of who you are or who you think you are, and you're committing it to this other partner or to this person with whom you are planning to live the rest of your life.
Wow. Now, do you have a last word for those who are struggling to love the same way they loved in the beginning?
Okay. Right. So if you're struggling to love the same way you loved in the beginning, and of course, as you mature, things change. As you grow, things change. And so you have to adapt to the changes. What I would say to anybody, and like you said, in Divine, it really hurts because there are lots of couples hurting and not investing the time, because I put in time for my job, right? All of us do. We put in time for our jobs. So why can we not put in that same time or something more for something which is long lasting or which is so covenant like a relationship? Why not invest that time? Why just throw in the towel when you see a little stumbling block? Why do you throw in the towel? And I say to every couple or to those who are about to develop all the things that God says about love, it is patient. Develop that patience. And once you exercise that patience, the reward that you get at the end of it is going to be incredible. Definitely, if your life is at stake, where you are being beaten, where you are being get out of that scenario. I would not advise anybody to stick with that scenario. But if you are in a relationship where things are just going now slow, you don't understand what is happening, try to change what you're doing. Get your partner's interest. Find out what they are interested in. If it is somebody who is interested in going places, get away from the house for a weekend. Like today is Valentine's Day. Go out there and rent a room in a nice hotel for once. Treat your partner, whether it's a man or a woman, whether it's your wife or it's your husband or it's your boyfriend or it's your girlfriend, treat them nice for a change. Go out there, rent a place, even if it's your wife, go out there and rent a nice hotel just for a weekend and do something different out of your environment and see, how that works. I mean, it will not be trying to entice the person, but it will just be trying to put more spice into your relationship.
I now remember, Lillian, and I now remember when you caught the plane at some point, flying to China to meet your husband, where he teaches engineering. Sometimes,
Hello?
Professor, hello?
Yeah, do that.
Yes.
Hey,
Now I see.
I have no shame in my game. I do that all the time. You speak to them in a nice tone. You don't harass them. You don't speak harshly to them, and you would be amazed. I'm telling you, this line that Dr. Vando gave once when we were on the platform about the husband and wife relationship, about how we, the wives or the women, were sent here to fix the man's life. She has no idea what that line did for me.
Oh, that's so beautiful. You're such a brilliant woman. Thank you, Lillian. And give my regards to Professor, your husband, Professor Ignatius Wap Fomunung.
We love Voices of Africa.
Wonderful show.
All right, now that was Mrs. Lillian Fomunung, live from Canada. Now, you definitely have a ton of things to say, comments to make on what Lillian just said.
Yeah, I mean, that was a very brilliant intervention. And talking from experience, because she's a woman who's been in a relationship for a long time. What I would just add, not really like commenting on it, what I will add is that we take relationships lightly. Be it a relationship between parents and children or husband and wife, I'm telling you, we take relationship lightly. If you can change the furniture of your house and repaint your house and put flowers, do things to uplift the face of your house, what more of such an important thing as relationships? Talking about even marriage that I really want to focus on. When you come in with that fire, it all starts from infatuation. You are just you are just taken by somebody. You don't even know who the person is, but there is just something that is.
Sorry to interrupt you, Dr. Caroline Vando. Looks like there's somebody on the line. Happy Valentine's Day. Is it our friend, Dr. Veronica Fortune?
Happy Valentine's Day.
How are you, Lady Veronica?
Well, I am well.
Beautiful. The theme of this broadcast today is, what do you do to keep those crazy hormones that were running crazy inside you when you saw Mr. Valerie Fortune. What do you do to keep it fresh every day? Is it possible to have a Valentine's Day every day in your life? And if yes, what are you doing?
Now, as you matured in marriage and as you matured in relationships, you begin to evaluate things and you see things differently because you come with a lot of experiences in how you have dealt with things, and you're able to kind of, how can I say, look in depth. So I'm going to talk about this from a different perspective, from what people are used to hearing. Now, couple fights once in a while is a must. It's almost obligatory that couples must fight. The question now is that it's not the fighting, but it's how you repair the relationship following the fight. Relationship patterns, how to follow harmony, disharmony, and then repair. We meet, the fire is all burning, and then as we get to know each other, we begin to unveil ourselves based on our backgrounds and the things that we bring in. We start seeing some disharmony, disagreement. But then it's how we do repair, because you cannot avoid the fighting, the argument. When couples fight, there are three things that we look at. Three key groups. Are we listening?
We are listening.
The things that are connected, which are the raison d'etre, I would say the reason behind, or the fundamental agitators to why couples do quarrel. 1, power and control. 2, the need for closeness and care. 3, respect and recognition. Those fundamental things cover every little thing that may come out, because we fight differently, but it doesn't mean that our quarrels and fight are kind of, indicative of any gender. No. Some of us, we come with a background of violence and instability, is what we've known, either from our previous relationships or from our homes, watching our parents go through that, or from our infighting with siblings. Siblings quarrel or fight. We watch that and we carry that into our relationships. That's the reality, because I had to sit back and say, can you really avoid fighting? No, you can't, because you're two different individuals with different characters that come in me. But then how can you reconcile that? Some people are people that do explode, some people implode, right? How? Some people they know how to express themselves. Some people keep it in the inside. They bundle it in the inside until they keep piling until they have an opportunity for them to explode, and then they explode. Now, when we begin seeking to portray, when we meet, right? When we first meet as couples, individually, you're trying to portray that good side of you. You're trying to portray the excellent side of you, a being that is void of faults. You don't make mistakes. You're perfect. You try to bring that picture to your spouse and the people around. But it only takes a moment as the months go by for you to let go your guard. You're not able to carry that image along. The real you, humanly speaking, will start to manifest itself. And that's where the disagreement come in.
That's when the love gets tested.
Exactly.
What you called love, that's when you are tested.
Exactly. Because at the beginning of a relationship, it's almost as if we are on level ground. right? It's as if we're on level ground. But as we mature in the relationship, as months go by, one person takes control. And remember, I talked about what are the things, power and control. One person takes control. The one who has control levels up, and as if they kind of usurp every opportunity from the one person, and that person goes down. So while one person is rising, another person is going down. It's like you're putting the other person down. Now, if we don't find a balance, that is where it becomes very dangerous. Some relationships do what we call kitchen sinking. We pile up things. At the beginning of our relationships, we don't deal with certain things that come our way. We don't express it. You don't tell your partner, hey, the way you were talking, I don't appreciate it. You act as if it is okay, which is not okay. And then you keep piling those things. And then you get to the point where the kitchen is so full of dirty dishes and it's difficult for you to start cleaning them up. And now you explode because you're overwhelmed by the things that you have not communicated right from the beginning.
Veronica, let me ask you a question. Why is this thing need for intimacy? Where is it coming from? Let me take your case, for example. The day you saw, I mean, your husband looks like a rock star, Valerie. The day you saw Valerie, and I take this hypothetically, the day you saw Valerie, it felt like you just could not leave 1 second without seeing him. It wouldn't matter whether there's thunderstorm outside, you will go see him or he will come see you. So where is all this power issues, tough power control, lack of intimacy? Where is it coming from? This is somebody you said you couldn't live without.
So we talked about over time, the test of the relationship, you see if it will stand the ground, because everything has its challenging moments. To everything, there's a season, and that's the truth. Your marriage will also have its own season, because as a person, remember, we have all these hormonal things that goes on with our human soul.
Oh my goodness, you say that again.
Moments, you do.
Your knees buckle. Your palms are sweaty. You are breathing heavily. Oh my goodness. Valerie cannot see Veronica. It's like he will die.
Yes, in that, and then there's a part where that other side of you can actually take over, where you become moody. Things can happen. Circumstances
and things really do happen.
By family issues, financial issues,
maybe children also.
You. Children come in, external families, friends, all those things contribute to people's reactions in the explosion that you see.
Okay.
Yeah, the explosion. Now, I talked about the fact that the question is not even the fight. It is how do we de-escalate?
Let me ask you on the third point that you raised. The third point had to do with intimacy. Again, I'm going to go back to my question. This is somebody you will run around the street naked with. So why is intimacy not a problem?
You know, like I was explaining, I said at some point when I'm going to advise couples, as young couples, when you get married, you get together, you want to live your best life, enjoy your life, travel, have as much sex as you can, much cuddling as you can, do whatever you can, walk naked as much as you can, because when kids come, you can. Those things are void. You will have to be a super person to find a balance between being there for your kids and being there for one another, especially for the mothers.
Okay, I'm having so many people wanting to call. In 1 minute, 30 seconds, what would you tell people about to get into relationships, people in a relationship already feeling it started hot like lava from a volcanic crater, and then soon it gets lukewarm and then cold? What is your word for them today? 1 minute, 30 seconds.
I'm going to just round out. I'm going to say this, and we have to take this. I hope we're listening. How I'm going to put a point that there is no way where we can escape conflict in our relationships. Those sweet moments will come at the beginning of it, when all these other external things begin to be involved. The question is, how can we de-escalate? How can we tone down the escalation so that we can actually hear each other during our quarrels? How can we tone it down so that the fire does not burn out, so we don't kill what we feel for one another? How do we turn it out? Turning those negative feelings that you're having and be able to de-escalate and turn it around so that you can hear each other and turn it on. Now, one thing that should happen is we need to learn to walk away. And when one person walks away from an argument, you don't need to follow them and throw other words to escalate the situation. Let it die down. And when you're talking, you need to be reflective. Is this worth it? What I'm about to say, what I'm about to do, is it worth the years you guys have enjoyed? Those sweet moments where you could not live without each other, where you couldn't breathe without the other person. What you're about to do, is it worth it? Is it worth it? All right. We don't stay in a communication when there is conflict. No, if couples could shift from negative escalation to reflective listening, that will make the difference between the fire that we have and not quenching that fire.
Thank you.
Understand?
Thank you so much, Dr. Veronica Fortune, calling in from Seattle, Washington State.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure. Thank you for giving me that. Happy Valentine's, everybody.
Thank you so much, Dr. Veronica Fortune. Dr. Caroline Vando, you, when Vero's call came in, you talked about love and infatuation. What's the line between the two? How do you know that somebody loves you really? And how do you know that it's just infatuation? They seem to have the same color.
That's the thing. And many people have stayed with the first and think that they are in love. You know, love, if a complete love, will have 1, intimacy, 2, passion, 3, commitment. And you cannot, let me say this, name, and I pray that, you know, somebody should understand this. It is very rare to find people who are in complete love. It means the intimacy, passion, and commitment are all present at all times. It is very difficult to find people like that. When you find people like that, they are admirable. Let me say this. Listen, it takes time to arrive there to that complete love. It takes time. And if you have found it, it takes a lot of hard work to keep it. So many people, when they see somebody, they are shaking just like you were describing. They just think that is it. And that is why many people are moving from one woman or one man to another, trying to just feel like that. Let that feeling stay. But it takes time, because you need to know your partner. Let me talk to the women. You say the woman came to help the man, because marriage is about the man, not about the woman. It's not good for the man to be alone, not the woman. So the woman came in to help. So it takes time to build. You cannot help somebody that you don't know. So when you just meet and you're so taken, you really want the man, you just love him. Hey, wait a minute. You have to think, do you know him? Do you know anything about him? Because the difference between infatuation and real love is knowing who you are involved with. Do you know the person? With infatuation, you don't know. You are just excited. You don't know anything about this woman or about this man, but there is just a force that is pulling the two of you together. But with the complete love, you get to know about the other person, know the background, know the difficulties in his life, his likes and dislikes, and then now you make a choice to stay passionate and to be committed. That's why you see some people, they will stay in a relationship, they are very close, they love themselves, and yet there is no commitment. They have not committed either spiritually or legally. They are just living together, just enjoying romance. When they need whatever, they turn to one another, but they cannot really commit. That's not complete love. And there are many people in that type of situation. Okay, some people, they come together because they have the same passion. They can identify with same maybe hobbies, and then they like themselves. Oh no, it's not yet that. It's not yet that. So it's not easy to get to a complete love. It takes time. You need to know who that person is. Okay, for the woman, if you know who your husband is, you will continually serve him in that area, and that will continually keep him happy and peaceful, and will always want you because you're fulfilling something in his life.
Okay, please hold your thought right there. We have somebody on the line. Hello, Mrs. Sean Obajulu.
Hello, sir. Thank you for having me.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's to you too.
Sean, you simply shine online. I mean, you write so extensively on Love Matters. What's driving you, girl?
What's driving me? I mean, I just believe in love, and I love love as a whole. Love is what makes the world go round. So we just need to keep talking about it.
Sean, I can imagine the day you first fell in love, it was like, even if there is an earthquake of 7.8 on the Richter scale, that wouldn't stop you to go see that man. You just couldn't wait to hug and probably kiss. What happens that those feelings just simply at some point just disappear? And then they become irritants to each other. What goes wrong? Share with us. What are you hearing out there?
Great question. I love the fact that the first speaker spoke about the approach about spiritual, because again, marriage is more spiritual than physical, but I will not dwell too much on that because Mrs. Lillian did justice to that. Let me talk about science for a little bit. Hormones, and I think somebody has also mentioned it. There is a hormone called dopamine, which is in our brains that causes excitement, right? With something new. And that's what usually partners have in their brains when they first meet. But over time, if that excitement is not kept up, it fades and it's replaced by regular feeling. And this is what makes some people feel like, oh, I fell out of love. Oh, I don't love this person anymore. And this happens over time, which is why we have to keep infusing something new, something exciting into our lives.
And throw light on that. When you say infusing something new, what do you mean?
It takes intentionality.
Get as practical as you can get.
I will. You already know that, sir.
Well, I know, but other people watching don't know, or they need to remind themselves of what they need to do to make it new all the time, to get that Valentine in the home every day. Speak to us.
Yes. Great output. So it takes a lot of intentionality. We have to be intentional. What happens is over time, we tend to take each other for granted. You know, there's this excitement when we first meet someone, you're dating, everything is new. We have those butterflies in our stomach, right? But over time, life happens, children come, your physical appearance changes, right? And we no longer take our time to create that excitement like we did in the beginning. When we're dating, you probably would never want to show your face to your man, right? Without having makeup on, making sure your hair is done. And the man also will go have his hair cut. But what happens over time, when we live together, those things don't matter anymore, right? So we need to always stay intentional. But before I go into that, there's one important thing that we need to realize. Do not let conflict build up. That's one thing that people do that happens over time and causes a breakdown in everything in the relationship.
Why do people let conflicts build up?
It could be for different reasons. They might have tried communication with the other person and they feel they're not making headway and they just stay quiet. Some people just
they say whatever,
exactly.
When somebody told me that when a woman starts saying whatever, you ought to be careful.
Whatever.
She no longer wants to communicate. But there's a danger with whatever, because when you allow conflict to build up, resentment sets in. We now cannot stand each other. And yes, that love becomes resentment over time. So we need to talk about it and do not let conflict build up.
We're listening.
Okay. All right. So real quickly, a few things I wanted to talk about the excitement. Renew your friendship over and over. Friendship is important from the beginning. Friendship is what sustains us. But over time, if we do not sustain the friendship, we will lose it. So yes, even though you're married, even though you're a couple, please do whatever you can to keep up the friendship. Talk, laugh together, call each other often. How are you doing? Let's talk about things. Right now, social media has taken over friendship in our relationships. Social media is death to a lot of marriages and relationships right now.
You come back from work and your wife is on WhatsApp.
Yes. Wife is on WhatsApp, husband is on Facebook. Yes, we are. Check each other out. Nobody spends time to talk anymore. Everybody is on their phone. That is killing a lot of friendship and marriages right now. Secondly, keep making memories together. Make each other your priority. Apart from everyone else, even the children. Oh, Sister Sharon, why would you mention the children? The children cause friction in some homes because when the children come in, they take over and we lose sight of each other in the marriage. And guess what? When you lose sight of each other, you drift apart slowly and you don't even realize that you're drifting apart. So please be intentional, keep dating, keep creating memories. Somebody already talked about it. You don't even have to spend money on vacation. Lodge into a hotel over the weekend. Have somebody watch the children. The children will be fine because guess what? Once the children get older and they're gone, you're going to be back with your husband. But what happens when you no longer have friendship? Then there's no point. You've just wasted, you didn't waste time. You spent your time raising children, but you lost your love and you lost your friendship in your marriage, right? That's one. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is my favorite topic, sex and intimacy.
Okay.
Whether you like it or not.
That's the big one.
It's a big one. I know sex is physical, and somebody already said it can fizzle away. But even if sex is going to fizzle away, we have to keep up intimacy. Intimacy helps the relationship stay solidified over time. How can you build intimacy? How can you increase intimacy? Those things we did when we were dating. Touch his head, rub his head. Your wife is cooking in the kitchen. Tap her behind. Excuse me, ma'am, I don't know. I don't want to.
Go ahead.
You know, tap her bum while she's cooking in the kitchen. She might act like she doesn't like it, but trust me, she likes it. Keep holding hands. Keep touching each other. Keep kissing each other. The last time some couples kissed was during their marriage ceremony.
when they were repeating after the Reverend Father or the pastor. Use something else. Anyway, go ahead.
So kiss each other. Stay dating each other, buy each other inexpensive gifts on your way back from work. Just present those things. Keep your intimacy alive. Stay on the couch together and watch a movie. Those things we create time for things that are important to us. And again, we lose sight of that person in our home because we have taken them for granted. And over time, we lose that intimacy and we lose the friendship. And that's when we think we have fallen out of love. And it's possible that you do fall out of love if you don't keep up these things.
Thank you so much, Lady Sean Obajulu.
Yes, sir. It's always a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Keep watching Chat Night Africa.
And the show on Chat Night Africa is Family Matters. We have 3 programs on this platform: Healthline, Family Matters, and Voices of Africa. Whoa, Dr. Caroline Vando, that's a lot. She unpacked a lot.
Yeah, she did. She did.
She writes a lot in social media. You have to follow this woman, Sean Obajulu. Thank you, Lady Sean. What did she say that knocked you like, whoa, this is like a bomb?
Yeah, she gave practical ways to keep the marriage or the relationship, to keep it going, keep it, I would say, hot, passionate. She gave practical ways. And that I want to reiterate that fact. When you just meet and you love one another crazily, that is the time that you are called them habits. You create some habits, the habits of, like she said, kissing, the habit of kissing, the habit of hugging, always being together. Like,
I'm still going to go to this. I'm still going to come back to this question. We are not talking about people who came, one came from Mars and one came from Jupiter, and then they met one Sunday or afternoon, Sunday morning. You're talking about people who at some point behaved like they couldn't live a second without each other. So why should kissing along the line become a problem that we should be talking about here as a relationship killer?
I know.
What happens?
When people just meet, they don't know each other. Character is a big point right there. The characters come in and they play a very big part. That's why personally I'm very big on character. If you behave well, I always will say the kindest word is an unkind word not spoken. If you know that you're going to say something that will hurt the other one, you don't say it. I always come back to the woman. You are the satisfaction of the man. And so the word of God says that a wise woman builds a home. So that fire, to me, the woman should just be building on that fire, fan it, let it continue to glow. But if character is lacking, the fire will go out very fast, because bad character will just quench that fire. The partner will be like, oh my God. When you can say one word or just look, just your eye, the way you look, the way you respond, the way you even do things, will just kill that fire. But a good charactered man or woman, I always emphasize on women, because they are the satisfaction of the man. The word of God says God made animals, brought to the man. He was not satisfied. He was in the garden where God put everything in the garden, put him there. He was not satisfied until God gave him the woman. He was satisfied. And therefore, this fire, character is always a problem. You don't know each other. You just met. You are excited, but character begin to kill that love, that fire.
Here is what somebody told me. Your character, your beauty, your physical look attracts somebody, but it takes character to keep that person.
Oh, yes.
And we are doing this show on Valentine's Day 2023. My name is Divine Chamukong. I'm anchoring this broadcast from Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. And my guest on the platform is Dr. Caroline Vando. Our focus today is, how do you make your home feeling, smelling, sounding like it's Valentine's Day every day? Now, somebody talked about conflict management. That's a big one. Because I tell you what, your man might be cute, your wife might be cute, but each of us is a bundle of problems. So the question becomes, what are impediments, roadblocks to proper conflict management? That's the question I put to you before I take the next caller. Dr. Vando.
Oh, Need Divine, as I always call you, Need Divine. There is order everywhere. And when God instituted marriage, he gave the order. There is order. See, there is this problem of thinking that we are just all the same. We are functioning from the same platform. We think the same, act the same. No. There is order. The man is the head. The woman came to help him. There is no good in that man. And if there is a problem, the builder, who is the woman, the gatekeeper, who is the woman, softens, humbles, in order to build. In that way, it takes two to quarrel. If one, just like my sister said, if one person should just keep quiet or move away, it stops. But the problem is, in marriages now in this generation, oh no, the man and the woman, they are equal. So the man talks hard, the woman talks hard, the man will shout, the woman shout. No, the builder should yield. That's why God said, submit. The builder should yield and let them be calm. It takes two people to quarrel. I always say that. And well, many women now growing up believe that the man and the woman, they are equal. And they have to do everything equally. No. The woman is the builder. The woman is the gatekeeper. The woman is the satisfaction of the man. You are the one to always just stay quiet. You see,
now I'm going to ask you what then is the responsibility of the man. But before I ask you that, before you answer that question, here is what Mavanga Mandangi says. Any discussion about love and marriage that supposes that love and marriage are spiritual, religious, or must be grounded in some spirituality or religion is misleading. The institution of marriage existed before religion. Love and marriage are social institutions and must be experienced out of the realm of religion. The simple mention of God in relationship is misguided. You're definitely going to disagree with Mr. Mandangi.
Yeah.
But I think his comments or his skepticism about marriage and religion is premised on the fact that those who sing praise the Lord, praise Jesus, jumping in praise and worship teams on Sunday mornings are not even, for the most part, examples to follow.
That's the problem.
So how do you make your case?
No, the thing is, it's not everybody that goes to church that is a practicing Christian. To go to church does not mean, oh, you're following the principles. No. But there are some people that follow the word of God, they follow the principles, and they are great examples. For example, me, I follow. And to me, I enjoy my marriage. And I've been married 30 years plus, and there is no staleness. I mean,
I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you a question. But before I get there, just to buttress the fact you just mentioned, you can stay in a garage all day, but you can't become a car.
Thank you.
That's a separate issue. And on gratitudes and ingratitude, gratitude, and I want everybody to hear this very well. Gratitude not expressed comes across as ingratitude. Let me repeat it. Gratitude not expressed comes across as ingratitude. Very good. So the other question I wanted to ask you, Dr. Caroline Vando, is people who are having trouble, who just feel cold or lukewarm towards each other, what should they be doing now? And when you respond to this question, I am going to take the next caller.
Those who just feel cold towards one another, the first thing they should do is ask themselves whether they really want life in this relationship. Of course, the answer is yes, because I know most people already have children, and it is not advisable to start breaking up and all of that. So what you should now do is to inject some life in your marriage. Oh my God, I don't know what to do myself. I always go to the women, because it's the woman that brings that life. I always say that when a man is getting married, he is so excited because help has come to him. Oh, whoever says they shouldn't mention God, okay, why is it that when they are wedding, the man stands and waits for the wife to come, and the woman is dressed in a way, and when she is coming, everybody is so happy and the man is so happy? Why? That alone would tell us that there is something that will happen in the life of the man as the woman comes. There will be a change. The man's life can never be the same again. So if that type of coldness is there, I would turn to the woman and say, just inject life. That man, just your warmth. If you hug him, the woman has some warmth in her that when she hugs the man, something happens in his body. Hug him, kiss him, prepare his best food, humble yourself. Every man loves to be respected. Do something to make him feel that he is respected or appreciated. There's so much you can do. You know, for me, I will change the dishes that I put his food in. I bring something new, set the table in a way, put on beautiful flowers, do something that would touch his heart. Okay, if there is coldness and the two of you just says you are looking at one another, who is the builder? Who will help who? I believe the woman is the helper. I believe the woman is the builder. She can bring back that warmth. She can do a lot of things to bring back the warmth in her marriage. I don't know whether
you are watching Family Matters, and today the theme is, how do you make your home one that sounds like, feels like, smells like Valentine's Day every day? And my guest on the platform is Dr. Caroline Vando. And before she comes back, I just want to give her a minute to take a glass of water. I met Mr. Lazarus Schatzeka and his friend Bliss. Listen to this tribute to one of Cameroonian best musicians, Ekambi Brian. This is Mr. Shatzeka.
Onimbo wa sunyabwa mumandolo moino muma mongele mambese mananga nonapi na masenga sokubi ulima nyumunya weya nyola mabola mongo na longina ison unamuto na pete nene dolopo o bona wamo o munamuto obunyabo okwatenge omakusane mamo nasibinga tokunya bomene tenge opo na manangande doti buluna bulute nasimato kisane nasima bimati pita wanda to babotiti yedeweni sane munamuto na pete nende dolopo oh bona wamo oh munamuto obunyamo patenge omakusane bamo musungeri yedi musungeri na koide usunga minyo solo si bamba musungeri ide musungeri na koide usunga minyo solo si bamba na lomabe na tete nyamonu osunga ba otueni yobae Ochopeda Ndiasi Benitube Ekupa Osuyajo Wako Usungedi Yedi Musungedi Napoide Usunga Minyo Solo Simamba Ae Usungedi Yedi Musungedi Napoide Usunga Minyo Solo Simamba Recipes Mutamwenya Toto Ekambi Brian Benga Loba Nyakuso Yindina Tonone Mona Nune Tojano Usini Nita Asime Nene O Parati Ate Bakbe Napala O Parati Ate Sonsot Osidi Obeaba Repose en paix, que la terre de nos ancêtres soit légère.
And the guy on the keyboard is Mr. Lazar Shatzeka, and the guy with the guitar is Bliss. You know what? If you want them come to your occasion anywhere in the United States, they're available. Just contact me and I will hook you up. You are watching Family Matters on Chat Night. We are on YouTube. This show is going on YouTube. It'll be there. Tell your friends. They can go watch after the broadcast is over. It's also going on the internet at www.chatnightafrica.net. It's on LinkedIn. It's on Facebook page, Chat Night Africa. Just search my timeline or search the broadcast page, Chat Night Africa. I want to thank Mr. Roger Full, who is my producer, thousands of miles away from where I am. He's in Lagos, Nigeria, producing the show. I want to also thank the designer of this platform, Dr. Elo. Ladies and gentlemen, once more, join me in welcoming our speaker for the evening, Dr. Caroline Vando. Dr. Vando, you have spoken a lot about what the woman should do, and I know where you're coming from with this. But you risk also getting a lot of women irritated, especially when you talk about, you mentioned the word submit. That word simply stings in the ears of a lot of women. I'd like you to talk on that, but before that, where is therefore the role of the man to make sure that this relationship that started so hot, as hot like lava, continues that way? What is the man to do? Or the man is just to cross his leg, watch TV, go on the internet, sometimes, many of them watch porn, and then the woman is beating her head left and right. What is the man to do?
That's a very good question. The man's role, if I should take it from my own point, my marriage.
After this, I'm going to be taking Toyin Abiola, who is indicating that she's on the line. Yeah, go ahead.
The man's role is very simple. If the foundation is laid right, the man gives himself. You see, at one time, I think I wrote on Facebook thanking my husband for giving himself to me. And that you can never buy a human being. Giving himself is more than anything that the woman will do. And that can only happen if he has been placed on a comfortable platform through respecting him and fulfilling or helping him with exactly the help he needs. And that is why I say you cannot help somebody that you don't know. If you know the person, you give just what he needs. And men, they love to be respected. When you respect them, then they will give themselves. Giving themselves mean they will do anything to make you happy, to make you peaceful, to make you be able to do more that you're doing to him that makes him satisfied. For instance, somebody who wants A, you are giving him B, it will not really satisfy him. So I always will say you have to know him so that you give him the exact what he needs, and that will make him give himself. As I say, even as I wrote, I mean every word, because giving himself, he does everything. If it is cooking, if it is cleaning, if it is whatever, because he's happy, because he's satisfied. So character for a woman is so important. Once you can make that man feel good, you see, like I surprised him and I wrote on Facebook thanking him. I mean, it was a big surprise. He was like, whoa, he would do better and even more because I respect him, not in the bedroom. I respect him publicly. And therefore, he can just give himself to me and do whatever to keep the home fresh. Valentine is every day. It's every day. It shouldn't be a particular day. Because the builder, because of good character, and because of the submission, that is what the man needs. A man doesn't get married to a man. A man gets married to a woman. It means she has to be softer, humbler. When you are called a woman, everything about you is sweet, soft, humble, good. That's why they say a wise woman. A wise woman, I didn't say a wise man, will build. And in that way, the man now gives himself. Is it financially? Gives himself. Is it emotionally? Give himself. I mean, in every way. I take it from my own home. There's nothing my husband would not do for me. Why? Because of character. I know he needs to be respected. He needs to feel that man. And I just gave him his respect. And what happens is now he gives himself in all form.
Dr. Vando, do you understand why the word submit simply is unacceptable for many women?
I understand very well, because the word, according to some women, is like they are lesser than the man. It's like the man has to just write on them, take decisions without their consent and all of that. But it is a big mistake. That is a very powerful place. You see, I'll always still go back spiritually. God resists the proud and gives grace to the humble. And because he has given that place to the woman, he gives the woman the grace. He has only placed the woman in a place where the woman is able to make that man serve her in all directions. Because when the man is happy, he can do anything. You tell him stand, he will stand. I always say women are the neck and the man is the head. The neck can turn the head in all directions. I always say that. And it is true submission. It is true humility. It is a very powerful position. I just wish that every woman could understand this, and they will enjoy their marriage. They will enjoy. I feel like I got married yesterday. Because I have taken that place. That is where I am, and I'm enjoying it. Okay, why don't you try it?
I tell you what. Your in-laws are going to think that you have some magic potions around your waist or in your breast, where that just remote controls the man.
That is it.
I've never been a woman, and I will never be. But I have to tell you, as a man, that honestly, men get attracted to women who are respectful of them, who compliments them. Mm-hmm. I'm talking as a man. I'm talking as a reasonable man, because we also have to admit that there are so many unreasonable, irresponsible men out there.
Yes.
And no matter what a woman does, they're not going to do. They're not going to change. I know there are also such people. Dr. Vando, what is it you do every morning, every day? I see you put on, you publicly praise your husband. What are you trying to do? Chase away the hawks? Your husband is a very handsome man. He's a very handsome man. What are you trying to do? Is it a tactic you are using to scarecrow those voluptuous women who are looking for other women's husbands?
In fact, that's just
what are you trying to accomplish? What are you trying to accomplish?
I am trying to just inject life in my marriage. Keep it passionate. Keep it hot as it started. Look, let me tell you. My husband, he still goes after me. Why? Because of that humility, that appreciation. I don't only appreciate him in the room, in the family, I appreciate him openly. And the more I do, the more he also will do to keep what he is doing. And also, Neil, you made a point which is very important. We are living in a terrible generation. The word of life tells us that's in Isaiah 4:1. It says 7 women will hang on 1 man. And do you know that this is a time that women will just see a man and they want him? So you were right to say that.
I'm going to open the phone line now. Anybody who wants to call and challenge you or make a contribution or share an experience, you are free to do so. Here, we democratize the microphone and the phone line. The number is 240-603-7367. 240-603-7367. We have 10 minutes to go to the end of this broadcast. I will take your call and the entire planet Earth will hear what you think. Yes, Dr. Vando, you were talking. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh, yeah. I was saying that to me, the woman plays a very big part because men do not really express their feelings as such, but we women, we do easily. And we were made like that in order to help that man, to serve him. You see, with some women are very angry when I use words like this. But marriage was instituted by God, and he has given us a handbook. If we can follow it, we'll enjoy it. Okay, if you've tried the other way, the worldly way, you want to do it your own way. If it's not working, then come along and then try Jesus. You will see that it is going to work. Now, many people think that marriage is not good. Marriage is troublesome, burdensome, is bitter. But
it must be from experience. Once bitten, twice shy, they say.
Thank you. But I'm sitting here to tell you that marriage God's way is very sweet. And like you were saying, some people get bored. Some people say, oh, I don't love my husband again. I don't love my wife again. Just like my sister said, this thing is not physical. You were saying, you said something that why do I write on Facebook and all of that? There is a lot of witchcraft. They attack marriages. They will just see that man and they will attack, bring problems spiritually. If you don't know it, a woman you loved and there is just no problem, another woman will just come in and bring witchcraft to turn the man's head to take him away. Marriage is a battlefield. And if we do not understand that, you have to fight for your marriage. Work hard. We both work hard for our marriage. We know it.
And here's what I would say, Dr. Vando. Lady, if you're admiring somebody's husband, what you see is a result of hard work put in there by the wife. Go fix your own. Go fix your own.
Go fix your own.
Go fix your
yes, own. They cannot. But they want another person's own.
If you see that guy in a nice suit like what I'm wearing, and go buy one for your husband. If you want your husband to look the way I'm looking,
Thank you. Feed him well. Give him the right food. Let him look handsome too. That's the problem. But they will not look. I tell many women who say they want to be married. I say, are you ready? Are you ready to be married? Because it is a responsibility. You have to build. Okay, let me say this, name. You see, marriage, love does not build marriage. No. It is marriage that builds love. Huh?
Oh, explain that. You're not talking like a philosopher.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
It's getting hot now.
When you are together and then you start contributing in the life of one another, now you touch the heart of your partner. Then your partner begins to appreciate what you are doing. And then now your partner begins to develop more love for you. Okay, if you've not done anything, you just meet the man, oh, I love you, and it is hot. It will bound to get cold. Why? Because the input is not there. What the man expected, he is not seeing. And maybe the person has bad character, especially. I always talk about the woman because she's the builder and she is the satisfaction of the man. And then the man began to see that, oh my God, and you can't help him in any way. The fire will go down. So marriage builds love, not love building marriage. Because you say, okay, you love is hot, you are shaking, sweating. Then your needs are not met. You'll be like, wait a minute, who is this? Then the woman is just rude, disrespectful. Say, wait a minute, where am I? It begins to go down. But when you are together and you are both putting in positively in the life of one another, you know, like, I love my husband. Ashkadabaze. I don't even know how to describe that type of love. Why? Because of what he has sacrificed for me. Because of what he has done for me. And so that has built much love and respect. He loves me. Oh my God, I enjoy his love. Why? Because of the things I've also done in his life. So, love. Marriage will build that love, not love building marriage. I hope somebody understands that.
And I believe so. Listen, when we planned this broadcast, it was designed to be strong, and I thank all the contributions, the contributors, and I appreciate their contributions. And why I say this is because I want to give somebody's flowers when they can still smell them. Mm-hmm. The problem sometimes is we appreciate somebody and we don't say it. Gratitude, let me say it again, gratitude not expressed comes across as ingratitude. Nobody is God to read your mind. Nobody. Let me share with you what Dr. Veronica Fortune said one day, that if your husband brings in 2 bags of grocery and you appreciate him, the next time he's bringing 20.
Thank you.
And I speak as a man. I've never been a woman. I will never be a woman. That is what catches the hearts of men, reasonable men. If you appreciate your husband, he's going to go above and beyond to do things you were not even expecting. Mm-hmm. And men, when you show love, you pamper your wife, you just... You know, this woman will submit to you without you needing to commandeer it. It's not commandeered. It flows effortlessly. Once once you respond, you behave like the man who should be, the man who would not leave the day you started dating this woman without seeing her. So these are things we just ignore and take each other for granted, and we wonder why things are getting cold, lukewarm, and soon you find yourselves in a divorce court. Yes, Dr. Caroline Vando. Now I'm going to reveal who you really are. Dr. Caroline Vando, is Reverend Dr. Caroline Vando. She's a bishop. And I'm sorry, I just wanted to play a little trick there. I didn't want to bring out that bishopric of her. That way, some people now start saying, oh yeah, you saying because you're a pastor. You saying because you're a pastor. That's why I kept that for last. What's your last word, Reverend Bishop Dr. Caroline Vando, before we go? You have a few minutes, 1 or 2 minutes to do this.
Yeah. My last word will be that when you meet and you take that decision to be married, that's the best time to develop some habits. For instance, kissing, hugging, being together all the time. Develop those habits. Having sex all the time, develop them. Because if, for instance, let me give an example from my own marriage. My husband cannot be in the bedroom and I'm in the kitchen. No. He cannot be in the sitting room and I'm somewhere else in the bedroom. No. We had formed a habit of being together at all times. So you always call for one another. Where are you? Oh, I'm in the room, I'm coming. Oh, where are you? Oh, I'm in the kitchen. Can you meet me? So we are always together. When you form those habits and keep them, like now, it is just natural that we will just come. It's natural for us to kiss maybe 100 times a day as we meet one another. We are kissing. It's just now so natural. So please form good habits. Okay, if we like stay for a while without coming together, without having sex, no, it's unusual. There is something wrong. So we'll begin to see that, oh, something is happening. Then we step it up. If we are not kissing as much as we used to do, what is going on? We step it up. If we are not hugging, before somebody leaves, if he's leaving or I'm leaving the house, oh, where's my hug? You take that hug. That man is yours. That woman is yours. You learn to enjoy yourselves. Learn to play. Learn to always eat together, except your schedules are conflicting. But you make that like a habit. When you just get married and it is still fresh, hot, please create those habits and keep to them. After some time, it will just begin to flow naturally. Remember, I told you that complete love takes time. It takes time to get it, and it takes time to keep it. And I said it is marriage that builds love. It's not love that builds marriage. So it takes a lot of work. And I pray for somebody today that if you have tried the world's way and it's not working, please try Jesus. Because the grace of God will carry you. The wisdom of God will carry you. The Holy Spirit will tell you what to do. Time will fail me to give you testimonies of what the Holy Spirit asked me to do for my husband, and that really refreshed his love for me. And so that love can never die, because the Spirit of God will keep telling you what to do, how to do it. He will tell the husband too, your husband too, and this fire will continue to burn. Listen to me, nobody should deceive you. That, when you are together for so long, you just, everything is just cool. Oh, listen, look at me very well. If my husband is around me, I kiss him 100 times a day. We meet, I kiss him. If I'm going to the room and he's coming out, I hug. If I'm going out or he is going out, we ask for our hugs. Sometimes, look, let me tell you, I'm not exaggerating. There are times I'm almost going down the stairs. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't get my hug. And I will be calling. And I say, my hug. He will just like, when I get up in the morning, I don't wake up until I have my hug. And he knows that. He gets up much earlier because he loves, he loves to study when it's early. For me, I get up much later because I pray through the night. So when I get up, I just close my eyes and barely see until I go to the sitting room, and immediately he sees me, he stands up and give that hug. Then I totally wake up on his shoulder. It is something, some habit we have learned and we have made and is working and is just there. If I don't do that, he will know something is wrong. My wife is up. She didn't come for her hug. She just got up like that to start the day without hugging me. There's something not right. He will start to find out what is not right. But I will make...
Absolutely.
Say that again.
Here's what I get from what you say, Bishop, Reverend Dr. Caroline Vando. Bad habits are learned just as good habits are learned.
Thank you.
If bad habits are ruining your marriage, you can unlearn the bad habits and learn habits that make things work.
I'm telling you.
These things are intentional.
Intentional.
It's not by accident. Good marriage is not accidental. It is intentional.
Okay.
If you didn't know that, you heard it today. And my other word, which you should not forget today, is this. If you're doing something is not working, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results is the definition of insanity. Thank you so much, Reverend Dr. Bishop Caroline Vando. You were on fire. You were on fire today.
I'm just so passionate about families because that's the foundation. If the foundation is broken, what can the righteous do? That's the foundation of the society. And if we can just get these things, life is beautiful. Life is sweet. We should not be going through, unnecessary pain. Life is sweet. It's just for us to pay attention and be intentional, just like you've said, about our relationships.
So much.
You're welcome.
And that is Reverend Bishop Dr. Caroline Vando. Your husband must be up at 3 a.m. now watching you. That I have no doubt about it. That man loves you crazy. He will take a bullet for you.
Sure.
Thank you so much for coming. And you see, when you stop learning, you start deteriorating. And that applies to every aspect of human life. Some of these things we know, we just ignore them or just take people for granted, and then things start deteriorating, and then we wonder why. Now, learning is a continuous manuring of the mind. You keep feeding your mind and challenging yourself to be better. Let me tell you something. When I do this show, I go back and listen to it and watch it and begin to think of how I can do a better show next time. That's why we are where we are on Chat Night Africa. Thank you so much, Reverend Dr. Caroline Vando.
Nothing works until somebody walks in.
And ladies and gentlemen, soon we have to call it quits here. I want to recognize all of you watching and all of you that called in to contribute, to edify, to add to the quality of this broadcast. I appreciate all of you. Sean Obajulu, Mrs. Lillian Fomunu, and we also have Dr. Veronica Fortu. I want to thank my producer in Nigeria, Lagos, for producing this program, Dr. Ilo, for designing this platform the way it is. I want to thank all of you who have been contributing so that we can come with a beautiful, beautiful platform and content so that together we learn. I learn when I do these shows, I learned myself a lot. I want to also recognize one of the biggest talk show queens on the internet, online, Rosemary Ewanga. Thank you so much, Rosemary Ewanga. You can simply go on YouTube and search Asking for a Friend. Asking number 4, a friend. Her programs are amazing. Thank you all for watching this show. On Chat Night Africa, we have 3 shows: Voices of Africa, we have Family Matters, and we have Healthline. We've programmed a lot of beautiful contents for you. I appreciate you. My name is Divine Chiamakong. I have been anchoring this broadcast from Washington, D.C. Metropolis. I will see you another time for yet another vivacious broadcast. Bye for now.
I'm coming back. I'm coming back. I'm coming to get down. I'm coming to dance, We're gonna dance, we're gonna get down, we're gonna party hardy, we're gonna boogie woogie, and when we jam, it's out of sight. This song right here, it's dynamite. I'm ready, I'm coming back.